Welcome to part 2 of the FileExplorer video. This continues on from part 1. Thank you. There's then I have a whole about 3 or 4 USB drives attached to it. One I use for working, which is a 3.5 inch 2 terabyte drive. Then I have a couple of other 5 terabyte drives that I use for backups. And I back up various things, but anyway, that's a separate issue, separate thing. Okay, see, so if I click on, that's the greater than sign, and it just tells you that I've got other folders or drives in there, and this gives you the list of the folders that are there. I click on this PC and it gives me the list of all the folders and drives that I have listed. And I can click on, for instance, the C, left click the C drive, and it gives me the list of the folders that I have here, because you can't have a drive within a drive, but you can have folders within folders. So I've got, there's nothing, no other folders within this light leaks, but if I click on it, it's a whole lot of images, so there's a whole lot of files in there. Same thing with logs, but this folder is empty. I get onto program files and click on that. Program files, this is a 64-bit operating system, so it has, these are the 64-bit applications. There's Adobe, this will be Adobe Photoshop, which, because I do a lot of photo editing, and Internet Explorer is in there, and a few other, quite a lot of other programs. Program files x86 is for the old 32-bit operating systems, and a lot of apps are still in 32-bit, such as, well, you can see some of the things down here that are in the 32-bit. 32-bit class, so I can expand things by clicking on that. I can then, for instance, move this over so you can see it. This light leaks program, as I said, left button, mouse button. I can just hold down the left button and drag light leaks out to the desktop, let go, and it'll copy it. In fact, it's actually moved it out. And I'll just drag it back in and move it back in. Now if I wanted to keep it a copy here on the hard drive and just have a copy out there on the desktop, I can right click and just drag it out. And remember, right click gives you more information. So it says copy here, move here, or cancel. So I can say copy here. Okay? And there it is. Now it's, as you can see, it's still got the copy up on the hard drive. Now I don't want a copy of that there, I was just wasting it, so I can highlight it and I can delete it, and by deleting it, it goes into the recycle bin up here. As you can see, it's got some rubbish in there. I can either drag it up there with the left click and drag it in, or I can just left click it and hit the delete key. So I'm hitting the delete key and it goes in. Another thing I can do is highlight the one here in the files and folder section, right click, drag it out, gives me the list of instructions, and I can say create a shortcut here. Now a shortcut is just a pointer back to here. If I double click on this, it'll open up here. I can also have a shortcut to applications or to anything. So if I double click on the shortcut to light leaks, it's just like clicking on light leaks. A big advantage of that is I can now drag that to the recycle bin and I still have the original. So remember, shortcuts are just pointers. These are the real things, there's no arrow on them. These are pointers, pointer, 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 so they're shortcuts. They're all shortcuts. As I said, I can left click, highlight, or I can right click something, and then gives me a list of things I can do. I can edit this because it's a JPEG. It'll open up a program to edit it. I can rotate it right, left, do other, because it knows what type of file it is. It knows, gives you more things I can do with it. And I can also get onto properties, and it tells me, gives me a bit of information. And down here, especially if you're playing with images and you need to email one, which will be in a separate tutorial I'll give, you need to know how to find out how big a file is, because if, some emails won't be able to send anything greater than 10 meg or whatever the file size is. So that's a quick rundown on FileExplorer. You need to know the left click and the right click, what they do. FileExplorer is the way of, it's a graphical interface of all the files and the folders and the drives that you have on your disk, in your computer, I should say. The other thing is you can actually drag, as I mentioned, you can drag and drop. I showed you can drag and drop a folder, an image or a file into a folder. You can drag a folder into another folder and have that into another folder. So if I open up, double click on Splash to open it up, you can see these are the two folders. There's one there that I've dragged in, and because it's alphabetic, there was in here there will be Irina, so that's the one I put in there. The first time I put it in that, then I put the other one in. So, and then up here it shows you where I can I've gone into FCPFS, which is Forest Computer Pals for Seniors. That's a thing I had for doing this thing. Then there was a folder for Splash, which is a Splash presentation that Avalon Computer Pals had organised. I can come up even further by clicking up this up arrow, and this comes up to a whole lot of things on the computer and stuff. Now also in the I'll click on this, in the FileExplorer you have a thing called quick access. These are the things to your things you've accessed very recently, your hard drives, particular files, all that sort of stuff. The other thing you have in your, which comes up, is one of the main differences between, say, a tablet and a desktop or a laptop is that a desktop and a laptop can be used by multiple people, whereas a tablet is only used by one person. So to maintain a bit of privacy, each individual user has their own desktop. So this is, if someone else had an account on this computer, they wouldn't see my desktop, my files here. They wouldn't see, they'd have their own desktop, and they would not have access to mine. Same thing with documents. If you save a document by not doing anything, it goes to your documents. My documents, or in this case it's just called documents. And same thing with pictures, videos and so forth. If I create a file on any of the other drives, like light leaks, that'll be open to everybody else. Okay, so that's a quick rundown on FileExplorer. I hope you found it useful, and if anything to do with computers, it just takes practice. So I suggest you get in there and have a play around, make a file, right click your in your desktop and go new and create a new folder and just call it temp, and you can even make it called temp1, and then you can create another one by right click outside, new, new folder, and call it temp2, temp-2, and then just have a play with it, and you can double click on it, you can move files into it, try moving temp1 into temp2 and bringing it back out again, things like that. Okay, in fact I didn't call it temp-2, it's temp=2, my mistake, but I can also then just right click at that and bring it back out, and it tells me what do I want to do here, and I might say I'll create a shortcut to that. So now I can delete that and that'll still remain there. But if I move this back out to here, and that shortcut still comes to that, so it follows it around. Okay, so just have a play. If you just use some temporary files, you're not going to muck anything up. So there's nothing magical about FileExplorer. It's there to assist you. It's a graphical interface for how you're storing your files, where they're located, and what you can do with them. Thanks very much. Bye. This is the end of part 2 of the FileExplorer video. I hope you found parts 1 and parts 2 informative. Thank you.